Katie. Hey, sweetheart. Katie, if you even mentioned my name in the course of your job, I can promise you on your wedding day, you will think of me. And from forever then on, if this happens to be true. But if it's not, if it's not true, you'll never see me. But if it is, I can't wait till you have kids. Oh, please, hurry. Please, I have so many thoughts and ideas. If it's true, Caitlin, I'm praying that it's true. I need a new hobby.
Love you, Tom.
All right, welcome, guys. How is everyone?
Hi, everybody.
I'm
Hello.
Tuesday, and with me here is the lovely Julie Carpenter. I have Kerry Lama and my Ginny Jamz, or known as Jamz. And we have a little bit of housekeeping to do before we start. And I'm just going to pass it on to Julie. Maybe you can touch base on this.
Yep. So we had a law tuber who leveled a pretty serious accusation at us. This person stated that we had doxed their children, which is completely false. We have not doxed anyone's child. It's happened to me. My child was doxed. It's not something that we condone. I would welcome from this person. They are supposedly not on Twitter, but they seem to know everything that's going on Twitter. So if you could find a channel to get to me this proof that you have that your child was doxed, I would love to publicly denounce it, because it's not something we support, condone, or anything that we would do.
Right. I'm appalled by that person's statement, the blatant statement, and I have never doxed anyone. I am a proponent against doxing. I think people deserve their privacy. And so it's a pretty bold assertion to make. So, but with that said, I do want to talk about a little bit on the attorneys on YouTube. There are some really fantastic attorneys to follow. There are some I would not recommend. And I think it's important to find the right source when you're watching a trial. One of my pet peeves is trial attorneys who stream trials and they talk in the middle of testimony, and they'll pause testimony and they'll give their own opinion to their viewers instead of allowing their own viewers to internalize the testimony themselves and analyze it. I think it's a little condescending and arrogant to do, but I do recommend there are some great attorneys to follow. I like Matt Tepanic. I don't know if I'm saying his name right. He's so refreshing. And Scott Reish, I don't know if I'm saying his last name, but he does Crime Talk. I believe he is streaming the Walsh case right now, I think. And he's just unbiased, very, very professional. And of course, I mentioned last time, note my objection. She actually is going to kind of follow the civil trial that's going on, regarding Karen Reed and all the witnesses. She has no attachment to either side. She seems to try really, really hard to remain neutral. And I find her to be a really good teacher regarding the legal system. And I think that's a perk for online attorneys, is they can really be a great asset of just being educational, helping us, analyze cases and trials, and without, some other attorneys online will be flipping the camera off. They'll be counting coughs of a judge, how many times a judge is coughing, and saying that they're doing it because they're corrupt and they're trying to send a secret signal to a prosecutor. I mean, there are some wild statements out there. So I say stick with some really great lawyers. There's also the Prosecutor's Podcast, Alice and Brett. I do really, really love them. They don't YouTube unless you're on Patreon, and you can watch them do their podcast on like a private YouTube channel. But other than that, that's the housekeeping for today. We are going to dive right into the lawsuit that Karen Reed filed against the witnesses. And I should bring it up. I'm learning how to use all this stuff right now. So,
whoops, sorry, you guys. I did not mean to put that up there, and I don't know how to get it up.
What'd you put up?
It says no.
If you press on a comment, it'll bring it up. Okay, so the Glare is streaming this live, which is actually against YouTube policy. So feel free to go report his account. I mean, clearly he has nothing better to do.
I don't think he has any original content. I think that's what he does. He just restreams people and
yeah.
Yeah.
That's okay. Report him if you guys can. Thank you guys so much. All right, so why can't I see this now? So it says the filing is up. Do you guys see it? No. Give me one second.
So I can see it in the little box, but I can't see it on the screen.
I wonder if it's because our screen.
There you go.
Okay.
Hey, there it is.
Sort of. Okay, so all right, here we go. So here's her filing. And I think what is important, I'm actually going to click out of it and back to us real quickly. I think oh crap.
We're real professional.
There we are. We're learning. Glare, it's not for use when it's live. It's actually against the YouTube policy. You can stream it when it's over. By all means, go ahead.
Is he in the chat now?
Someone just said he says it's fair use. Fair use.
Oh.
My sir gentleman is not when it's live. Okay. So when we're looking at the document, the lawsuit, what is in the document is important, but even more important is what's not in the document. So omissions are lies by omissions. I am actually trained in statement analysis, and that is one of the most common ways people lie. And it's an easy way to lie. It can help create a storyline and remove context from things. So when we look at Karen's lawsuit, which is about 40 something pages, and in this lawsuit, she is telling her story of what she's asserting happened that night, what the witnesses did, and how John died. And nowhere in this document does she ever mention her text stream data of her vehicle. And one would say this is very important information for someone who was there dropping John off, right? That's her story. And she doesn't want to mention some of the main evidence. And I am going to bring up this for us. And again, I truly appreciate your guys' patience as I'm learning to do this. 1 second here. So we have the SUV data. Okay. So, oh no, how did that work? Oh. Why is this not showing?
It was showing just on there.
Hold on. That is really weird. Let me see if I can take us off. Here we go.
Oh, there you go.
Whatever. Okay. So what we have here, so the things that are not mentioned by Karen is her vehicle data. So Dr. Welcher, who is a accident reconstructionist, he's a biomechanics engineer. He was testifying regarding the trigger events of the vehicle. And he did this by matching up. He did this several different ways, actually. And one of those was he matched up Karen's vehicle mileage with her known locations of the night that John had passed away. And I'm going to switch over real quickly to the other. This one will give us a better look here. Son of a gun. This is. There's got to be a better way to do this. Okay. All right. So Karen actually says in one of her interviews, and one of the officers also testified to it, is that she made a 3-point turn. If you can recall, if you're familiar with the case, or if you're not. So when Karen and John had left the bar and they were driving to 34 Fairview, they actually missed the turn to turn onto Fairview Road. And so she ended up making a 3-point turn to go back around and then make a right onto Fairview. So we have that knowledge, right? That is a data point that they were able to work off of to understand where, when you're looking at the car, when she actually made that 3-point turn and what happened in sequence with that. So the vehicle itself has something called trigger events. And these trigger events will capture certain movements of the wheel, degree changes, reverse, things like that. So Dr. Welcher actually points out here that two triggers. Trigger 1, he was able to match up to the 3-point turn that Karen made and flipped around. And they could tell this by the way her steering wheel degree changed, her reverse motion, her distance, then her forward motion again. And they were able to connect this to John's geolocation on his phone. So this was a puzzle piece that was matched up. So 8 minutes later, 8 minutes and 5 seconds later, after that 3-point turn, is trigger 2. So the data shows that Karen's vehicle moved forward a bit, and then it recorded her reversing 87 feet at 74.5% throttle. And trigger events don't actually capture the completion of an activity. So her reverse length could actually have been longer. What happens is a trigger event will, let's see if I can put us back on here. So a trigger event will record a moment, and then it will capture seconds before that moment and seconds after that moment. It doesn't continue recording until the action is done, basically. It's like a picture that kind of captures around it. And
I think 10 seconds before, 10 seconds after, right?
I think it was
Something like
less than that. I believe
Maybe
it was
5.
3 to 5. Yeah. So 74.5% throttle in reverse 8 minutes after that 3-point turn. And no one contested this, by the way, in trial, because there was no one to contest this tech stream data. And this came directly from her vehicle. The defense team had experts there as well when they were pulling this data chip and doing all this stuff. So there is no explanation for this. After the trial had ended, Alan Jackson did an interview and was asked about this. And he said, I don't know. I mean, we really don't know when she reversed. It could have been any time on her way home to John's house. Maybe she reversed if a snowplow came towards her. This has never been in any of their documents. This has never been a thing. So their explanation for this is really a no explanation. Karen never talked about this. And I don't know if you guys have ever tried to reverse at near 75% throttle. That's an intense reverse. So we have a big question mark there. Why did Karen reverse like that? I just wanted to add real quickly and play this one clip, and then we'll move on to the next topic. So I have...
Did you go in reverse 24 miles an hour, 53 feet?
The data is what the data is, and it's going to come out cleanly, more cleanly.
So Karen calls it the data is the data, in that it will come out more cleanly. Well, her experts never even touched this data that I recall at all. And for those of you guys who may not have followed me or anything like that, I documented the trial every single day. I really try to do my best with both sides of the case, just so we have access to all the information and easy to read. You can go to my Substack. There's no cost. There's no charges. I haven't taken a penny from anything for this trial. It's there if you guys want to reference it. It's really helpful because it's especially when it comes to the data, visually seeing it is extremely important. So with that said, we'll move on to the next topic, and I'm going to pass it on to Julie, the other omission that was left out of the filing.
So do you want to start with that video?
Sure. Let me get all this ready. So when I put all this stuff together, I didn't realize I had to, when I'm on here, click the video file versus the photo file thing. So it made it more of an extra step. So here. I'll have this all ready for us.
I see him go to the door and start to cross the threshold.
He walked into the house. I think he was confronted, was likely brought down to the basement. I think that confrontation got physical, and he was beaten. He was beaten to a point of unconsciousness.
The location data that shows accurate tends to show around the flagpole area. There's no further health data other than 36 steps that were taken that suggest that it moved after 32 minutes and 16 seconds after midnight. The battery temperature data never indicates that the device went from a cold environment to a warm environment, which I would expect to see if the device went inside a building. And the Doppler state information suggests that the camera was blocked for at least the majority of the 5-hour period, with no records showing that the camera was unblocked during that time, which would typically happen if you were to pick a camera up and move it around.
You have an opinion where John O'Keefe's cell phone was from around 12:24:33 on the evening of January 29, 2022 through at least 6 a.m. and after that morning.
Yes. Based on the totality of all of the information that we've described, my opinion is that the device never moved far away from the flagpole.
I have no further questions. Thank you.
Okay, so when you look at that picture of the house, there's the front door, there's the breezeway door, and then there is a side door. You could kind of see it in that last picture. That side door goes into the garage. And if there's anything that I say tonight that you remember, that you should not forget, it's that that garage is attached. However, there is no way to get into the garage from the house. In order to get into the garage, you have to come out of the house. Like, let's say you're at the breezeway, so you'd come out of the breezeway and you would enter that side door, or you could go through the overhead doors. So once John was in the house, he would have had to been walked back out of the house and either walked through that side door or the overhead doors. And the important part of that is the 36 steps, right? So there was only 36 steps. So you're talking about it's not possible, right, for him to have gone in the house and then come back out of the house. So just please remember that there is no way once you're in that house to get into the garage without going outside again. So in the first trial, the defense was fitting their theory to the information they had, and they had that stair flight information. That stair flight information happened before they arrived, and they were fitting it to that. So that's why they had him going in the house, up and down the stairs. I did see a comment, I think it was Stuart Trish, that was saying that the street was mostly flat. I don't have a clip of it. I'm happy to send it to you if you message me on Twitter. But Ian Whiffen did actually go through that too. I don't know if you guys recall this when he pulled up the topography map and he was showing, he had explained earlier in the testimony that elevation is 3 meters, right? Not 3 meters. So 9 feet. So if the elevation goes up 9 feet, the phone is going to consider that going up a flight. The other important part of that, and I know you're going to say, well, they were in the cars, so it's not going to count steps. Ian also did a experiment where he drove with his phone. If the phone was docked or put down, it didn't count steps. However, if he held the phone while he was driving, it did count steps. So he showed that exactly where, and they were following with the location with the Waze, where the car was. They showed in the trial how the ground elevated. So that's really important. I know that there's been a lot of reporting that all the streets are flat. It's completely flat. That's actually not true. And that actually was in the testimony. So
there's actually, Julie, just to stop you really quickly, there's even a video, I'll have to find it and I'll post it on my Twitter, but I ran across it the other day when I was going through some other clips of Karen talking about their vehicle driving down a hill or up a hill, one, I can't remember which, on that road. Basically, she herself talks about how hilly that road is.
Yeah.
I'll find it. I'll put it on Twitter.
Yeah. And that the topography part, I don't know if everyone remembers that, but that was really interesting. He showed it perfectly where those elevations were. It was while they were driving. More than likely, he was holding his phone. Where else would he put it? He was a passenger. He was looking. We know he was looking at the phone because we know when he was receiving messages, his face was. What do you call that? What did he call that?
What do you say?
So when the phone recognizes the face, I can't remember exactly what.
Yeah, Face ID.
Yeah. Yep. So So during this, in the lead up to the second trial, we started to hear these things about the garage, and everyone has probably seen it. There's a picture of Alan Jackson, and he's by a ridge because Dr. La Posada said the only way that he would get that injury is if he hit his head on the ridge. So they conveniently find this ridge in the garage that just happens to be covered with, it looks like paint. If you look at the thickness of it, it's definitely thicker.
It's paint. It was the shutter paint from
paint.
yeah, it was the paint from their shutters.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. And the other thing I want to say about the garage is that I spoke to someone that lived in the house, and that night, because of the snowstorm, there was at least one car in that garage. So to think that John went into the house, walked back out, or I don't know how I guess he floated back out and into the garage. And then 3 more people came after him and the dog. I mean, it's just absolutely ridiculous. And so now they're all in this 2-car garage that has a car in it. It's ridiculous. But I think the reason why that happened is because more data had come in, and Ian Whiffen had done his report. The stairs were not going to fit. That was not going to convince people anymore. And sorry, I lost my train of thought.
They had to adapt.
So they had to adapt their story, right? And so they also had that battery temperature information, and it was showing that the phone was cold all night. So they had to come up with another story. And so what they did was they took the location data. Remember, we saw it. There's high accuracy data as far as the location, and there's low accuracy data. And so at one point, the low accuracy data showed that he could be somewhere in the front of the house, right? So he could be somewhere near the front of the house. Do you want to play that next video? I'm going, yeah. So if you could play video 2, that's Ian again.
15.9 miles an hour. At 24 minutes and 28 seconds, traveling at 14.5 miles an hour, at which point it's approximately outside number 34, around the driveway area. 24 minutes and 29 seconds, traveling at 12.1 miles an hour. 24 minutes and 30 seconds, traveling at 11.5. 24 minutes and 31 seconds, traveling at 10.4. 24 minutes and 32 seconds, traveling at 8.9. 24 minutes and 33 seconds, traveling at 7. 24 minutes and 34 seconds, traveling at 5.2. 24 minutes and 35 seconds, traveling at 3.5. 24 minutes and 36 seconds, traveling at 3.2 miles an hour. And at 24 minutes and 37 seconds, traveling at 1.4 miles an hour. Finally, the device comes to a complete stop at 24 minutes and 38 seconds. Also, from the testing that I've done related to the speed, it may not be 100% accurate, but it's a very good indicator of the speed in general. So if it says it was traveling at 10 miles an hour, it would have been traveling at somewhere between 9.5 and 10.5 on average.
So the point of that is he did not get out at the driveway. He got out by the flagpole. The car never stopped until they were at the flagpole. So if you believe John got out at the driveway, that would mean he got out of a moving car. And I'm fairly certain the people in the car behind him would have noticed a man kind of, jumping out of a moving vehicle. And then we have can you play the other clip as well? Mm-hmm. The third one of Ian.
Climb of 3 meters over 16 steps taken. So it wouldn't really matter whether it was walking up a flight of stairs, walking up a steep inclined hill, on an escalator, something like that. If there is movement that appears to be walking and an incline of 3 meters, then that would be considered a flight climb event.
Is there any other ways that the phone could register flights climbed, but the person's not actually walking up or down stairs?
So I did test this a few months ago, driving in my vehicle. I was able to, if I just put a phone on my dock as I'm driving around, nothing was recorded. But I found that if I was actually holding the phone while driving at the same time, then the the natural suspension of the vehicle plus the movement of my arm would be considered enough to be steps. And if that motion happened while I was driving up a hill, it would also result in a flight climb event. And the testing that I did consistently resulted in, I think it was 9 flights of stairs climbed while I was driving up the same hill multiple times.
In your
Yeah,
I just
so
want
that
to
was
pop
just
in here. Sorry, I just put up that Ben's comment real quickly. Were you listening, Ben? Because he was just explaining your question right here. And iPhones, by the way, are not, they don't have eyes. They infer, they make inferences using things like barometric pressure, motion, elevation. So you have to take into account that technology is inferring things from it. Sorry, Julie.
No, you're great.
Can I just interrupt for 1 second too?
Yes, absolutely.
Yeah. So that comment, I don't know his name. I can't see it anymore. But whatever it was. I feel like that's really part of the problem, right? No, you guys don't listen. It's crazy. I clicked on the Glarus channel for a second because I know he's streaming us, and he's talking over everything that's going on right now. And talking over, yelling, screaming, everyone in the chat saying that we're lying. This is the problem.
Right.
This is how we got here, guys. Like, you're not listening. This is data. This is it. You can't argue with it. What she's saying and the clips that she's showing, you can't argue with it. And it's infuriating. It's, this is why
it's frustrating. Yeah. And it's like, I'm open. Will, you are welcome. If you're done talking over us right now, you are welcome to come on and talk about this with us. Like, the door is open. This is not a war. This is an open conversation about just facts and the evidence. And the problem is with conspiracy pushing is that it's based on a lot of generalizations and not details. And details matter. And we are open to discussing everything. I mean, there is nothing off the table case related. So this isn't a war. I'm like, put your sword down. You don't need to call me the R word like you did the last time. Like, let's be civil human beings and really talk about this. But if your game here is to just talk over it, call people a liar, call people derogatory terms, and just huff and puff, then fine, by all means, that is your prerogative. But I just want to put it out there, the door is open. So if you feel like we are lying, or if we're not, we are literally showing you proof of everything we're going over. So I'm not sure how one can say we're lying, but by all means, reach out to me and we can figure something out.
Well, it's entertainment. Like, it's not, that's what it is. I don't know if you guys have heard the quote, give them bread in circuses and they will never revolt. I mean, I don't think Will is feeding anybody, but as far as circuses, I mean, that's what it is. It's a circus, and that's what keeps them entertained. It's a way of look this way, so you don't look that way.
Look at he muted. Yeah, that's
coward. You're a coward, Will.
Yeah, he wants to keep
hear me. Yeah, I mean, I am being respectful and kind to you, and you're sitting here live streaming against YouTube policy, by all means, another person's live stream. You're stealing active live stream, and because you have nothing better to do, apparently, and you're sitting there and you're muting me. Why are you streaming me then? Why are you streaming this?
Actually, to all of the people watching his show, this should be a big question for you. Why is he muting her? Why? You
Exactly.
should really want to
Right.
know that.
Especially like, I don't know, with, there's the whole Charlie Kirk stuff that happened in our country, and there's a lot of people who talk about, civil debate and whatever side of the politics you're on, but that was something that was brought up is civil conversation and debate. And that's what we're here for. So you are welcome, Will, as long as you are civil, which I don't think you have actually, like, the backbone to come in and really talk about stuff without being a jerk to people. But just so you know, the door is open. We'll be kind back, and we'll just leave it at that. We have so much content to go through
Moving
right
on.
now.
We have a lot.
Yep.
Go ahead.
Yeah. So now we're going to talk about the steps. So we talked about the garage. We talked about the fact that there's no way to get into that garage from inside the house. And now we're going to talk about those last steps. So no one is disputing the fact that that car arrived and stopped at 12:24:38. So John had 36 steps. And the important thing to remember about these steps is he didn't necessarily walk in a straight line. So he could have walked in a circle. He could have walked anywhere. He could have paced. The assumption that he walked in a straight line, I get it. It seems like normal, but it's not necessarily what he did. So his last steps were between 12:31:56 and 12:32:16. The reversal event happened at 12:31:58. So during the first trial, we got to hear from Nicholas Garino. It made it into this trial a little bit. Alessi asked questions of Whiffen about Garino's report, but you didn't, unless you watched the first trial, you didn't understand what was going on. So we have a clip now from the first trial, and it is Nicholas Garino, and he is talking about the distance between the flagpole and the front door. So not the breezeway door, the front door, and not the side door to the garage, the front door. So can you play that clip, Tuesday?
Mm-hmm.
With reference to the following time periods after this, what, if any, based on your training experience, what, if any, opinions were you able to draw from sort of that data?
So he would have to go from the GPS point that's listed. It would take him, a second and a half to get to the house, and then a second and a half back where his body was found, where his phone was underneath him. He'd have to go about 48 feet a second when I did a velocity calculation, which is about 32 miles an hour, a second to the house, a second back. There was no GPS points ever showing inside the home, the backyard of the home. There's no lat and long listed. It's just the degree of accuracy from the GPS signal.
So the 72 feet from where Mr. O'Keefe's body was found to the front door of 34 Fairview Road, in order for him to be inside of 34 Fairview Road during any of those measured timeframes, he would have to travel 72 feet and 1.5.
The objection sustained. The objection sustained.
So the other thing about this is, so now you know it was 72 feet to the front door. If he went into the front door, as Karen claimed during her interview, then he had to come back out, right? And there's not enough steps for him to go in and come back out, because we only have 36 steps, and then he never moves again. So the other thing that Ian Whiffen, I don't have this clip, but he talked quite a bit about that pocket state. And so that's when the camera is covered. The phone is checking, like, I think every half second for your face to be ready. I think he said there were like 24,000 checks over the night, and the camera was always covered. So if John, let's just say he didn't go into the house as Karen claimed. He went into the side door of the garage where there's a car, and somehow he also is, somehow the other people that she's accused of doing this end up in the garage with the dog. He can't move once he's in the garage. So if he can't move and there's no more steps, then how would he get back to the flagpole? So if you go with the the defense theory that he was carried back out into the lawn. Let's say his phone is in his pocket, right? Because it couldn't have been thrown over there. Someone would have had to walk it over there because the camera was covered. So if someone walked it over to the flagpole and placed it down, and then they placed him down, there would be steps registered on the phone. The phone doesn't know who's walking with it. It just knows that it's moving. So it's not like it's looking and it's like, oh yeah, that's John walking. I'm going to count these steps. That's not what it does. So that absolutely could not happen. So let's take another scenario. Let's say they left the phone in his pocket and they carried him. That phone is still going to register steps, right? Because when your phone is in your purse and you start walking, the phone is registering those steps. There is absolutely no way to get John back from the house, the garage, wherever you are saying that he may have been, back to that flagpole with that phone without some kind of step, something registering. He would have to be floating. And I don't think any of the people in 34 Fairview had any kind of like kinetic powers where they could pick up bodies with their minds and move them. So there's that. I'm sorry, guys. I am like a little all over the place. I thought I had this down. Yeah. So the two most important points are you can't get into the garage from inside the house, right? So when you're talking to people about this and they say it had to happen in the garage, please let them know there's no access to that garage from inside the house. You would have to come back out of the house. And that 36 steps, right? So there's no way to account for getting that phone covered back to the flagpole without steps somewhere. So if someone can come up with some great idea, maybe they put it on a drone and they flew it back out and they landed it right there at the flagpole. I'm just kidding. That's absolutely ridiculous. But if you think about the garage, how you get in and out of the garage and those steps, it's absolutely impossible that he was in the house. And then when we talk about the location data, the defense took the lower quality data. The phone is constantly pulling in locations, and depending on what you're using, it might pull high quality data for other things. Like Ian's example was the weather, and that would use lower quality data because you don't need to know exactly where someone is. So the phone is constantly pulling these things in, and that's why you get that difference. It's not necessarily him moving. It's just the data expanding. The weather can do that, expanding, and then it's getting more accurate. One of the things that Ian said in his testimony, and I think it was Paula that may have latched onto that, is that he was giving reasons for why, like signal strength, why that might happen. And he gave several reasons. One of those was if he went into a building or a house, a covered building. And I would just like to ask anyone who really thinks that Karen is being framed and that Ian Whiffen is also an operative of the Commonwealth, why in the world would he give that example if what he was saying wasn't objective? So he was just giving examples, right? Just he's putting the information out there, and whatever it is whatever it is. That's just an example of how that could happen. If you go back to the clip that we, and Tuesday's not here. We had that one.
Oh, I'm here.
Oh, the picture with the last steps so that everyone can see that. I think Jenny made that. It was really great. It's a really great visual.
That's
so
great.
This is the
Oh yeah,
timeline.
I should make that. That's me.
Yeah, it's really beautiful. It's really beautiful. You did a beautiful job. So this is the timeline, and you can see that reversal event, right? You can see John's step start at 12:31:56. You can see the SUV back up.
Julie,
Yep.
I'm going to cut in real quickly. I meant to stop you for a second, but I wanted to address this comment I put up. This person put, oh my God, you're relying, I'm guessing, on Guarino. He missed thousands of texts in the Birchmore case. So he actually did math. So that's what we're going off of. Like the 32 or the where he would have to walk, I think he said 32 miles per hour to walk into the house and back to his phone, that's math. So, I mean, you can believe math or you can not believe math, but I just wanted to
and he
answer that.
absolutely did not miss thousands of texts in the Birchmore case. We've been over this time and time and time again on Twitter. I'm not even going to get into it. He did not.
Right. If you read the reports, he was talking about the phone and he was confirming that they had been deleted. And then the FBI went in and they got them from the cloud. I mean, he didn't miss.
It's like the most ridiculous things that you twist yourselves into pretzels to make 900 people framing Karen Read. It's preposterous. It's preposterous.
All right. Yep. So here's the visual. If you want to take a screenshot, Jenny did a really nice job with this. But again, it's that 36 steps, right? So there's no way around. There's no way for Karen to get around the fact that there's only those 36 steps, right? I've heard like ridiculous things about how supposedly the witnesses got John back on the lawn, but you can't get around the 36 steps, the covered phone, the fact that if the phone was in his pocket and they carried him, it still would have registered steps. Anything's possible, but it is highly improbable that they threw the phone and it landed. And I don't even think that could happen either, because the face Doppler check kept checking, and it was like, as I said, like twice, what did I say? Like every half second it was checking. So it would have been in the air and it would have noticed that it wasn't in a pocket state, and that never happened. So if you remember the garage, please remember that you can't get into the garage from the house. The 36 steps, there's no way around those things. And when someone starts to talk to you about location data, remind them that the defense was pulling on very low quality data to put him there. When Ian put together all of the information, right? So the health data, the location data, the face Doppler checks, the battery temperature, when he put all those things together, John never moved from the flagpole. And so if you have multiple data sources coming together and they give you a very accurate picture of something, it's really hard to deny it, right? Unless you go and you take the low quality. And here's another thing. If the Commonwealth was trying to frame Karen and they were trying to put only things that were negative about Karen in there, why would he even put that data in his report? It doesn't make any sense. Ian was very objective and he presented it in a way he wasn't trying to make it that the phone never left or John never left the flagpole. He was just trying to present what data was there in the phone, and what data was there in the phone proved that John was outside on top of that phone all night.
I just want to point out too, while we're looking at this, look at where the steps begin, the time, 12:31:56. They end at 12:32:16, and look at where the trigger event starts. Plus or minus 5 seconds. But I mean, come on. His phone, after those 36 steps, it never moves again until Kerry picks it up the next morning around 6 something, when she's getting the blankets off the ground. She saw John's phone, she picks it up. It never moves again. And that trigger event is right in line with when his steps started and when they ended. I mean, that is solid.
Bulletproof. It's absolutely bulletproof.
It's really sad when you see it, when you read it and you look at it.
Very sad.
It
made me very sad when we were listening to the trial and like all this stuff was presented. Like Ian went through it in much more detail in the second trial. And the clip that I saved it as John's last moments. And that clip, that part of it made me so sad, because I mean, he had it down to the second.
I mean, you can literally see with each data point what happened in his final moments.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. And Ginny just made a good point. You can literally see on the police dash cam video when Kerry goes over and picks up his phone.
Yep. I'm going to play that later.
It starts moving. it's there. There is no question. I mean, it's right here. It's right here.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
It's sad.
Yeah.
Very sad.
Yep. So that's pretty much it. If you can just remember about the garage and the 36 steps, that the camera was covered all night on that phone. There's no way that he was in the house, taken out of the house, brought to the garage, brought over to the flagpole. It just couldn't have happened. It's almost impossible to have happened. If you look at the data, you look at this timeline, you look at where John was, you look at the high quality data. Don't be confused by the low quality data. It's really clear that John was at that flagpole all night on top of the phone.
Yeah. And Karen, that's why Karen said she was looking for him on the side of the road. Why else
Right.
would she be looking for him on the side of the road when she dropped him off and saw him walk into a house and knew a blizzard was coming in?
Correct. I mean, who would think that? If I dropped somebody off and they went into a house, I would pull up in the driveway and knock on the door.
Who wouldn't?
The next morning, like I wouldn't be thinking he was in the front yard. Why would I think that?
It's not it's not logical. It's not a logical first thought. And I mean, I don't know. I can't even fathom why anyone would think that was normal.
Well, I think they had everybody. Sorry.
Go ahead,
I
Julie.
think
Go ahead.
they had everyone, they had this very, they were very, they pushed the flights of stairs and they were like, oh, look at his phone says that he was walking up the stairs. And, people have this, this belief that, it's data, so it's 100% correct. And if it's interpreted incorrectly, it's not necessarily there's anything wrong with the data. It's that you have someone who took one part of the data, didn't do any verification, and then, said it was fact. And they took that. I mean, you guys remember that? Like people would be like, well, where were the stairs? How could he be walking up and down stairs? And that went on for like ever. And even though we knew when he arrived, and that it couldn't have happened. And then they would yell and yell, oh, I drove that. And it's flat. It's completely flat. And none of that is true. It's just not true.
Yep. Yeah. And then not to mention, and we're not going to get into it tonight. And actually, I'm going to make a comment about this because I know people are going to be like, but you didn't talk about this or you didn't talk about that. If it has something to do with what we're talking about, reach out to us. But there's so much information. We are only going to cover a portion of it tonight, right? So we plan on talking about it. We plan on doing, more episodes of this so we can just cover all the information. And so, feel free to reach out. It's hard for us to read these comments. The chat's going so fast, but you can email us or reach out on Twitter.
Oh, maybe's in the chat. Maybe we want to have you come on here if you're interested.
Yeah.
We love your articles.
Love maybe.
Oh yes. Mm-hmm. Oh my gosh, yes. I'm so impressed by those articles. Highly recommend.
They're unbelievable.
All right. Julie, are you still have more stuff or are we on to the next topic?
I'm good. I think I'm good. I think I got it all.
Okay. So who's going next?
I believe Kerry. I'm going last. My information kind of wraps everything up.
Okay. So I think, what was I going to start with Tuesday? I think I pretty much started with the first page of the complaint, which was, can you pull that up, Tuesday, or do you want me to just read it? I think what I wanted to focus on, the first thing I wanted to focus on was that he was killed during a late night house party of heavy drinking. When the only person that night who was proven to have been heavily drinking was Karen Reed by her own admission. I know that y'all saw in the trial, the forensic experts presented retrograde analysis showing her blood alcohol level. At the time, I think it was 0.13% to 0.292 or maybe 0.300. I can't remember, but to put that in perspective, the 0.135 is drunk, being impaired, legally drunk, off your balance, coordination's gone, things like that. The 0.292, the highest, which is what they put her at or could have put her at, you're blackout drunk. And that's what her blood alcohol level, when they did the retrograde analysis, was found to be. The next morning, I think it was maybe 11 a.m., 10 a.m. So her claims that a murder happened after heavy drinking by the people inside the house, while their client is the only one scientifically proven to have been intoxicated, it just doesn't add up. And Tuesday, do you want to play those clips? Tuesday? Oh, sorry.
You're muted, Tuesday.
The final count of my alcohol intakes, probably about 5 or 6 or 4. The drinks that they were pouring me at McCarthy's, which is where I consumed most of the alcohol, was the weakest vodka tonic. It tasted just like old soda water with lime. Not that I needed to be a martini, but it might have had a splash of vodka in it. So I said, John, this drink tastes like it has no vodka in it. He said, just get a shot and mix it yourself. So each drink was being counted as a double. So I would get a vodka tonic and then I would pour a shot into it. So that would count as 2. Frankly, it just felt like a regular cocktail. It was just a really weak pour. So I asked for a shot. So for my taste, it just tasted like that's the normal strength of what a drink should be. So I had maybe 2 or 3 that are being counted as 4 and 6. And I don't know. I felt fine. I felt like I was buzzed. And then there was one drink, the last one that was given to me, which I would have counted as 3, but they're counting as my 6th cocktail. The guys that we were with brought around shots, and they gave me one that I didn't drink, but I poured it in my drink. So that's now my 5th and 6th drinks, with the 7th, which is a shot that all the men did, and I poured it. So that one glass that I'm holding, that I go into the waterfall with, has 3 drinks in it, a vodka tonic and 2 shots. And which is why John said to me, you're not leaving that drink here, like you haven't touched it and just poured a bunch of vodka. He's like, just take it with you, which was something he always did. So then I go into waterfall and I put that drink down and I socialize most of the time. So that would have been my 5th, 6th, and 7th drinks. Then John orders me a drink at the waterfall that I don't drink, that he takes with him. And then there was a round of shots that Chris Howard bought that I did take. So that would have been the night. But I did not consume 9 vodka martinis or take 9 shots, depending on how you count it. And the last 2 drinks I didn't touch.
You had a lot to drink, right? I couldn't say, I had like a normal amount. It's like a vodka tonic every 40 minutes. Okay. And so are you feeling like buzz? I know I'm not checking, I'm just trying to get buzz. Yeah.
How did you feel after that many drinks? When you got in the car, did you feel like you could drive, and did you feel see it on the videos. And I was going, you know, when I've had a few drinks and I drive, I always drive extra slow, so I know my alerts aren't as sharp as they should be. But I shouldn't have been driving.
It's amazing how she laughs about that.
I know. I was thinking the same thing.
She's got a smirk on her face, like
the entire time.
And guys, can you imagine saying, well, they counted as 6. I only say it's 3. I mean,
I know.
It's according to what type of math you do.
Right.
I mean, I do the math that everybody on earth does.
Everybody else's fault, you know. I said, John, these are weak, and he said what had bought into them, and Chris Albert bought shots, and it's always somebody else's fault.
She never takes responsibility for any of it. It's
crazy. So and then the next one is on her complaint.
Which one is? Oh, okay. Is it the outside clip? Oh, yeah. Okay.
No, I think it's the
from Richard Green in this trial?
No.
Right.
I believe the evidence is all out, and in part from Ian Whiffen.
Are you still disputing the 227?
Oh, crap.
Or, I mean, the 6 o'clock?
Is this going on twice?
I think it's a good point, though. They had no expert.
I was gonna hit 227 for a second after. That's probably you probably have that there.
They didn't dispute any of it.
Right.
You guys, what is that?
What is what?
We only saw it once.
Yeah, it's because
I think it was a different clip.
I was going to go into 227 because in the complaint, that's what's next.
Why do I hear a video playing right now? That is so weird. Hold on.
Hi, Julie.
Hi, I think we lost 2 people.
I like your curtains.
Oh, thank you. Thank you. They're my lace curtains.
I'm still here. I'm just, my AirPods fall out every time I let them. It's so annoying. I'm trying to shove them deep into my ear canal right now, but I'm doing it off camera.
Is Glare still streaming us, or did he give up?
No,
I mean,
he's
sure
streaming
he
us.
doesn't want to hear any of this.
He does. He's streaming us, but talking over it and yelling at everyone and muting it.
I don't know how his audience learns anything. Did you? I turned it on for a second that when he would that first time when he was talking about us, and he was trying to say that the autopsy photos were public.
Yes.
And how he doesn't understand what happened is a surprise to me since he's been covering this case for so long. So what happened in that September 2022 filing is David Yannetti should have impounded the autopsy photos. He did not. The autopsy photos in that filing, if you were to get them, were black and white. Karen took all of the colorized autopsy photos and she gave them to Aiden, and Aiden published them. So Glare was trying to say, oh, there were no naked pictures of John. I don't know what planet you live on, Will, but when someone you love is killed in a horrible way, those photos are shocking. They're horrible for the family to see. I don't care if he was naked or not. That wasn't the point. The point was it's a person you love who has died in a horrible manner. And the fact that you're trying to make it like, first of all, it's no big deal. Second of all, you don't even know what happened. And you're saying it's, nothing. You don't know, excuse my language, but you don't know jack shit about this case. You don't know anything. So sorry.
Yeah, no, he doesn't know anything. That's
Julie, I told Kerry earlier that I need to get popcorn So when you go off on someone, I can just like
I mean,
pop
it
it out
just
and start eating.
the autopsy photos for me are incredibly upsetting. Most of the time, families never see those photos until the trial, and they're shocking when they have to see them. I think you guys know, some people that are watching this might know, my son's friend was killed, and when they showed his autopsy photos, there was an audible gasp. It was horrific. And the fact that they did that to the O'Keefe family, I will never forgive Karen and Aiden for that. And it all comes down to the fact, and Yannetti even said it as well, the body is the best evidence. He was a human being. And that you took away his dignity and you splashed those everywhere. And people constantly put them on the internet. It's a horrible thing. It's absolutely horrible. I don't understand how you don't get the human part of this, and how you're so desensitized to the fact that this was a human being who had people that loved him.
I mean, and it's your body. I imagine if it's your own body and your naked body is being leaked online. The lack of human decency is disgusting. And I think this goes into the true crime culture here, is I feel like many years ago, there was, people who, I'd say in the true crime sphere, there was this advocacy and care for victims. And since this online world has just gone amok, it's almost like anyone's tragedy has become a playground for people. It becomes their own story that they're allowed to just use and exploit. And this is, John's was a grown man, but this is still someone's son. This is still someone's brother. This is still a man who deserves dignity and respect. And the court system, we got to trust the court system to play these things out in court, not trial by media before even a trial goes on. It's awful. It's extremely disrespectful. And I really encourage people to consider how they would feel if their own son, brother, whatever, husband, wife was treated this way online.
Agreed. Sorry.
Yeah, and I think that's the bottom line. They've lost the ability to put themselves in other people's shoes. Completely lost it.
No, it's like they're characters. And I think this goes into the witness intimidation stuff too, is that the way they have turned all these people into just caricatures, by, again, I am very into linguistics and statement analysis. And there's things with how, and it's used in cult culture as well, is you use terms, you name things a certain way to give it its own meaning. And when you call the witnesses the McAlberts, you are basically trying to create them as one entity, and you're being disrespectful, and you're creating an image that they are not individuals. They are not people. There is not a bunch of people in this storyline, and it allows for context to be missed. And it's just disrespectful. It turns it into a game and entertainment for people to just run around with pitchforks.
Well, now they're calling them house defendants.
I was just going to say that. That's the new word. The new word.
Yeah. I mean, there was quite a few people in that house. They're not all defendants.
Right.
But I digress. All right, Kerry, is there more stuff you wanted me to post here?
Well, I was going to just hit on 227 just for a little bit. I know, I mean, I feel like 227 couldn't be more debunked if you tried, but as you know, I just was sitting here glancing at the Glarus chat for a second. I think 20 people all posted, 227 happened. I don't know what more could be said to
Yeah,
debunk.
Richard Green never even testified in the second trial. He did not testify, you guys. His
I don't know
affidavits changed. They morphed.
how these people say this with a straight face anymore.
I don't think they're listening.
No.
Is he just rambling?
Yeah.
I mean, it's literally Cellbright, and then we have Jessica Hyde, who used to be the director for Axiom, something part of Axiom. I mean, these are leading professionals in the industry. And then you have Richard Green,
they're the top
who did not testify. So you are willing to just disregard. And I feel like it's because they don't really understand the software updates and how all that works and the parsing of information.
Right, but
and we can get into that down the road sometime.
Right. I mean, we know that it was the last tab open timestamp for Safari, right? And the same time open tab as what was used later at 6:23 and 6:24 when Karen asked Jen to Google how long to die in the cold, which, by the way, she also asked the either firefighter or EMT, I can't remember what Whitley was. I think he might have been a firefighter, how long it would take, how long someone could survive in the cold without their coat on. How would you know that John was out all night? Why would she ask that? If, why would she ask that? That's
Right. If she saw him go in the house, why would she think that?
He would have been out there for 5 minutes, but she asked how long it would take for him, how long it would take or how long someone could last out in the cold. Richard Green didn't even show up for the second trial. And Whiffen didn't just explain it, he showed it to all of us in real time on the stand. He actually did it for you guys. He showed you all what happened. Showed you. Jessica.
And for those that don't know, sorry, I don't want to cut you off,
go ahead.
but I think it's important to know. And again, this is all stuff we can go through down the road. There's just so much information. But just to make the point here is that the first software that this was run on did not bring up 227 timestamp as a Google search. That timestamp right there, that was never there. When Richard Green joined as was hired by the defense, there was Cellbright did a software update. And with this update, they wanted to have a more, it was almost like a deeper dive, but the way they parse the data in that software update is what confused some of the experts. And this was, Ian Whiffen had talked about another case too.
I think it was in Europe, I'm pretty sure.
Yeah.
And in the United States.
It's in the clips that we put together earlier.
Okay.
Oh, is it?
Yeah.
Yeah, we have
Okay. Let me look at this.
It's basically all one clip Tuesday. I just clipped it all together. After Karen saying
before we go to the clip, I just want to finish this out with, Richard Green, they did not put one person on the stand. The defense did not put one person on the stand to say that how long to die in the cold happened at 2:27. I don't think that Karen Reed supporters really understand that. They didn't put a single witness on to say that it happened. That means it didn't happen. If there was an FBI analyst saying otherwise, which there's not, but if there was, that FBI analyst would have been on the stand. Karen Reed publicly acknowledged Whiffen's testimony outside to the media. We have that clip. I think Tuesday just showed it actually on the day he testified. I can't even imagine what more you guys need to know it didn't happen. And you have ruined this woman's life over this mistake. It's just I mean,
to not even consider it, people just closing their eyes
right
to it, and I know one of the bigger, I don't know if I want to name them, one of the bigger kind of mouthpieces on Twitter that have promoted Karen's story. She had tweeted that Cellbrite was kind of boasting about Cellbrite originally when the 227 came up, and was like, oh, the Commonwealth is poo-pooing on basically Cellbrite with the 227 timestamp. And then the minute when Cellbrite actually testified, it was like,
Cellbrite,
you don't, right. It doesn't fit the narrative. And this is what the conspiracy story has done over the last couple years. It has morphed. It has been one thing debunked into another thing, or just ignored. No one can answer the 74.5% throttle data right there. Like, no one. I keep asking people, what are your thoughts on this? And that's ignored. And anyways, sorry, I'm getting off topic here, but it's just frustrating.
it is frustrating. Do you want to play those clips too, T?
Okay, yeah. I think this is the one here.
Once she provided us with the fact that she dropped him off and never saw him go in the house, she was asked to provide details about her leaving. She stated that she made a 3-point turn and left.
Point, did anybody else, other than the people that you talked about previously, come into your house?
No.
And specifically, John O'Keefe or Karen Reed that you saw at the...
Was that not the one?
No. That is one of Carrie's, but that's not
That's
the
one of mine.
The one you played earlier where Karen was walking out of court, it's all clipped behind that.
Gotcha.
Like, that's just one long clip.
Gotcha.
From Richard Green in this trial?
No.
Why not?
I believe the evidence is all out, and in part from Ian Whiffen.
Are you still disputing the 227? Or, I mean, the 6 o'clock? The timestamp of Jenna?
That's been addressed.
Are you still...
And sir, when you were trying to examine these searches that in your opinion were 6:23 and 6:24 a.m., did you ever try to test it yourself and actually take a phone so you could either prove or disprove to yourself that earlier timestamp didn't mean it was the time that it was searched?
Oh, definitely, yes. That's the kind of thing that I do all the time when verifying artifacts.
And in your opinion, is that helpful in understanding how a timestamp earlier could relate to a later search?
Exactly, very helpful.
Did you learn that a consumer had called about a question relative to a report produced by the software?
Yes, there was both the troopers who had requested information about this particular artifact and also a private forensics examiner, Richard Green.
And when Richard Green reached out to your company, what specifically was the question or issue?
He reached out to the tech support team, asking basically, there's a timestamp that doesn't make sense. I need to understand what this timestamp means.
And can you share with us, what was the issue? What was the question that you were actually looking into?
The question was related to a timestamp of 2:27:40 a.m. And an internet query that appeared to have occurred at that time. There was no other information on the device that suggested that internet query had occurred at that time. So we wanted to know how relevant is that timestamp to when the query happened. So I was able to take test devices, recreate test data to find out exactly what this timestamp meant, and discovered that it was actually the timestamp that the tab within the browser was brought into focus and had no relevance to when the actual web query had been made.
So after you looked into the issue and came to a determination or opinion, did you reach back out to Mr. Green?
Eventually, yes, I did. After I provided information to the troopers, I wrote a blog that covered this information because there was another examiner in Europe who had a very similar question, and I realized that this is a relatively common point of confusion. And then eventually I reached out to Richard Green, offering to speak to him about this issue and clear up any confusion, but never received a response.
You showed us a tab that was opened at 2:27:40, and it had something to do with Hawkmock Sports.
Yes.
In your opinion, to a reasonable degree of scientific certainty, was that the same tab, that 2:27:40 tab opened for Hawkmock Sports, was that the same tab that later was used for searches or attempted searches at 6:23:51 and at 6:24 relative to how long or how's long to die in cold?
I believe it was, yes.
Was your opinion limited to analysis of reports generated by companies like Celebrite or Axiom?
It wasn't, no. I went into the data, looked at the various different databases, different files that were in use, tested it across many different devices to make sure that my understanding and analysis of it was correct.
And finally, those attempted searches at 6:23, 6:24, you mentioned that information at some point was deleted from the phone?
The only records that were deleted were the browser state database records. Yeah, they were deleted from the device.
Do you have an opinion to a reasonable degree of scientific certainty whether or not that information was removed as a natural application of the phone, or was it because somebody took the phone and actually deleted it by hand?
So again, I don't believe it's possible, given the situation and the information that's available, that it would have been possible for the user to delete it.
In your studies and in your position, is there any viable dispute in the forensic data scientific community about that issue?
I don't believe there is anymore.
Now, you got involved in this case because you received a complaint from a consumer.
I received a question from a consumer, yes.
And you attempted to resolve that?
Correct.
Okay.
Sustained is
Other than that source, have you received any information, feedback, opinions that would make this issue in any way a dispute?
Yeah, I received a very similar question from an examiner in Europe. Fairly similar circumstances with a case and with a timestamp that didn't make sense, that was originating from the same database. I applied the same logic and theory to his question, and he confirmed it solved the issue for him. It all made sense then.
And since then, has in your world, academic and research world, forensic data science, other than the person who originally raised the question, has there been any dispute brought to you by anybody about your conclusions about when this search actually happened?
No. If anything, I've heard people who have confirmed the research that I did.
Okay. Kerry, you there?
I'm here.
Okay.
You can't see me.
Okay.
I'm covered by chats. Oh, there I am.
There you are.
There I am. Yeah, so I mean, like I said, I don't know what more you would need to hear than that. I really don't. I just want to read these because this is kind of what we're dealing with, right? And I'm not trying to be petty or anything, but this is why I think it's so sad. I mean, we just heard Ian Whiffen explain everything, right? The testimony is consistent and it's clear. How long? There was no house long at 2:27. It happened at 6:23 and 6:24. No one testified otherwise. The defense did not call anyone to take the stand and say that it happened because they know it didn't. And these are I was just glancing at Will's chat again, the glarer, and these are the comments that I'm reading. Who can take him seriously? He sounds like a 13-year-old boy. Morrissey had plenty of money he's collected, which he uses to follow the money. Ian Whiffen erased 227. So that is why
Can we address that real quickly? So I know you guys don't understand some of, the naysayers really, I feel like don't want to understand, or maybe don't want to take the time to understand what actually happened. But like I said, the first time the extraction was done, 227 timestamp did not come up, right? Then the software update happened and the parsing of the data changed. And that's when they were parsing last tab open timestamps in Google searches, and they were showing up in the same section. However, both Jessica Hyde and Ian Whiffen said that a data report is a tool. It is not something to use and just look at for just the regular Joe Schmo person to know what it is. You actually have to have it analyzed. And so that's where the expertise comes in. And most experts understood this concept. Richard Green, I don't know if he didn't understand the concept. I know Ian Whiffen that Celebrite had offered him to get certified in Celebrite. And as far as I'm aware, that was declined by Richard Green. But yeah. So what they did is they did a new software update where it was not doing last tab open timestamp polls, right? So that's what happened. That's the technology behind it. So you can ignore it, or you can be open-minded and really try and wrap your mind around why the world-renowned company Celebrite is correct.
And
Richard
this
Green
did not just happen. Oh, I'm sorry, Julie, you can
No, go ahead. No, go ahead.
Okay. This wasn't just a problem in this case. Like that clip was there, right? Where he talks about the other.
Yes.
Yeah.
That
Yeah.
had another
So
out to him.
this issue was happening in other areas of the world. He was getting these calls.
Right.
So they did not delete or change the program for Karen Reed. Come on, guys. Yeah, for Jen McCabe, sorry. They did not change that. It's a $1 billion company. Do you know what they would be putting at stake if they changed that program for one court case because they were trying to get a certain outcome? They're putting the entire company on the line.
And I really
know how powerful the McAlberts are.
Right.
I think a lot of it came from the way the field was labeled last time viewed. And that's why a lot of people thought that it was the last time she viewed the search. Richard Green did that with the clocks too. Do you remember in trial one?
Yeah.
Where he was trying to talk about the monotonic clock. And Ian did a beautiful job as well during his testimony explaining the clocks in the phone, and that you have to actually do an offset, right? So you have to do a calculation. So Richard Green, I don't know if he's inept, if he's just not a good data analyst, or if it was on purpose. I really don't know, because he did with 227 what he did with the clocks too. Remember, because they wanted him to arrive earlier.
Yeah.
And that was, we found out in trial 2 when Ian explained it, this was a person who was misinterpreting the data once again, and that was data that had come out of that Axiom report as well.
And that's another point too. Celebrite is not the only one that changed their program to make this clearer, to make that tab, so it wouldn't be so confusing. Everyone has, and I think the only people that haven't actually changed the program is Axiom, right? But they did update their manual. Was it Axiom?
Actually, it was right. They didn't change it. It's still there. However, when you look at their manual, they explain it a little bit differently than Cellbrite was explaining it. So it showed up there as well. But when you looked at the manual, it basically told you, hey, this might not be inaccurate. You need to do more analysis. That you can't just go by this timestamp. So, yeah, and he knew that. I don't know. I don't know. I think some of these defense experts just are paid. They're paid advocates, and it is interesting that he just disappeared. You know, I mean, if what
That
he
was
did
weird.
was so reliable, then why wasn't he in trial too? I mean, someone should ask Karen that. Where'd your boy Richie go? Not
I
Mike
did
Ross,
ask
the other one.
She said Ian with and answered it.
Yeah. You're right. She said that. So,
maybe he was at McNasty's.
I have a few more things. I think maybe we should do mine in part 2, and I will let G do her thing, because I still have the people in the house, and then I have the decorated dude, Brian Higgins.
Yes, all that's really good stuff too.
Yeah.
So I think that's good. Saving it till next time.
Save it. Maybe we'll do another night in the next couple nights, and I'll let G do her thing.
I can, hold on, let me think what I want to cover then, because I can cut mine in half too. I'll do Tuesday. I sent it kind of on 2 separate things. I'll do my second talking point outline. I'll save this first one.
Okay.
I'll save it for next week or whenever we decide to do it. So let me pull that up. So you'll only need to play those clips.
The second.
So
part.
yeah, second talking point.
Okay.
Yeah, so what I wanted to talk about was number 42. And the reason I wanted to talk about this is because I had already kind of covered this in detail on Twitter. So, or at least part of it. So I just kind of wanted to add to it. So 42, in her filing, or in her complaint, 42 says, while Miss Roberts joined Miss Reed with administering CPR, Miss McCabe did not help or even approach Mr. O'Keefe. Rather, she sat in the cab of the vehicle, called 911, and reported that there's a man passed out in the snow. Okay, so I'm splitting this part in half. Okay, so I'm just going to address that part for right now. So first of all, my question about this is, I really want to know how the insurance companies feel about these lies that are so easily disproven. The attorneys for the insurance company, how they're going to feel about, I mean, this is unequivocally false and it's so easy to prove. It really makes me wonder how those attorneys are going to feel about Karen and her attorneys stating things like this. But oh, well, this is not for her auto insurance though, right? This is the other. Never mind. This is the complaint against the witnesses. Okay, forget it. Forget what I just said.
That's a good point, because during that one interview, her new attorney, or was it during the hearing? I can't remember, but one of them said that Karen has repeatedly told the same story.
Yeah.
And that's not true. I mean, how many versions are we on?
Yeah. But if you can play that first clip Tuesday, the Gen CPR.
It's the one with Kerry.
It should be clip number. Oh shoot! I didn't. Hold on. I have it.
The blanket one.
No, it should say Gen CPR. It should be labeled Gen CPR.
Okay, got it.
Okay.
How long did you give chest compressions for to Mr. O'Keefe?
Oh, I can't be sure. I would say 4 minutes, 5 minutes while we were waiting for the EMTs. I had Jen take over at one point.
Briefly, what was the temperature like and the visibility like?
The temperature was freezing, because I remember at one point I couldn't feel my knees, which is why I had Jen take over. And it's the wind.
When you see Kerry removing the snow from John's face, what do you do?
I was frozen. I was shocked. I couldn't believe that was him just lying there.
Tell us what you're seeing.
What do I see? I see Kerry just wiping the snow off Karen had straddled him and had lifted her shirt and his shirt and was laying on him, and Kerry was screaming at her to get off of him. And I was literally just stunned. I mean, there he was.
What did John look like when you saw him?
I couldn't see much but his face, because the rest was snow and Karen was moving over him, but he just looked like just him, but just like frozen.
What did you do?
At first, I just stood there for a minute because I couldn't believe it was him. And then Kerry Roberts and I made eye contact. And I knew, I was like, all right, I'm going to call 911. But I think I knew in that moment that John, was dead.
Did you call 911?
Yeah, I started to call 911, and Kerry and Karen were just screaming. And so I walked back towards Kerry's car, and then Kerry was also yelling at me to go to the back of the car to look for blankets and towels. So as I was calling 911, I was at the back of the car looking for the towels and the blankets to bring over to Kerry. And while I was doing that, I believe 911 answered.
Did you speak to 911?
I did, yes.
Did you get the towels and blankets that Kerry had requested?
I did, yes.
After your phone call with 911 and you had the towels and blankets, tell us what happens next.
So after I called 911, I went back over to Kerry, Karen, and John. And at that point, Kerry asked if I would take over compressions. So she got up and I started doing compressions, and Karen was doing mouth to mouth.
When you started doing compressions, were you touching John over his clothes or touching his skin?
I don't remember.
Did you at that point get a chance to touch John's body and see how it felt temperature-wise?
I just remember when I was doing the compressions, I don't really know how to explain it. It just felt very funny.
I'm sorry,
It just wasn't like normal. I don't. I can't think of how to describe the way it felt when I was trying to press down, but it was like resistance.
How long did you try to give compressions and give aid to John for?
Until the police came.
Mr. Brennan, why don't we end here?
Thank you.
Well, as I got to my destination, I saw 3 people on the lawn in the snow, waving at me.
And initially, when you see these 3 people in the snow, do you have any idea sort of who they are, or male, female, anything like that?
There were 3 women, and I later learned there was a male subject on the ground.
And so.
Okay, and sorry, I thought I had removed the music from that before I sent it to you Tuesday. But so again, 3 different people describing Jen. Jen is there as well, of course.
You sound a little staticky. Is that just
my AirPods died? So I am trying to hold on. Can you hear me now?
I can hear you. You're just staticky. Can you hear, guys?
Static, AJ.
I sound staticky. My AirPods died.
Maybe should we just get to this next time then?
Yeah, that's fine. We can do this next time.
We'll start with that.
Yeah.
This weekend.
Yeah, we'll do it the weekend. Yeah, we'll do part 2.
Yeah, sounds good.
Okay, yeah, because I don't want what you have to say get missed at all.
Yeah.
Okay. Kerry, did you want to mention what were we doing for the donation? Oh, if you guys have
yeah,
questions.
yeah.
right?
I mean, obviously, we're not doing any of this to make any money whatsoever. Not that, we could anyway. I don't know how you can do that on YouTube. I don't think we have enough subscribers, but we wouldn't be doing that. But if y'all would want to give any money, we just ask that you go and donate to the witnesses legal fundraiser on, I think usually it's up. The website's not up right now though. Tuesday, defending.
I can do that. Defendingthetruth.org.
And if you guys could do that, that would be amazing.
And someone asked,
Really
when will Kerry Roberts be on?
We're trying to cement a date. I think it's going to be the weekend of December 19th. I'm hoping for. She just has to get her son's hockey schedule, which comes out, I think, this week. And then we're going to put a date down for sure. And Chris Albert, he wanted to do this month too, but I feel like it's better to do after Christmas maybe, because I feel like then we're getting towards the holidays.
Okay.
We can talk about it.
Can you guys hear me?
Yeah, we'll keep you guys posted as we figure out the set dates for sure.
Yeah, we have a couple of John friends too that want to come on, and I think that would be really good to hear more about John O'Keefe, who's been so forgotten.
Yeah, that would be great.
Yeah, I think that would be really fun to be able to hear some stories about him and things like that.
Yeah, and I think it was Julie. Did you point out that John's birthday's coming up too?
It's December 8th. Ginny, let me know. I thought it was the 5th, but it's December 8th. And is he would he have been 50?
Oh, good point.
I was
That's
trying
a
to
really
figure it
good
out
question.
today. So I will find out exactly how old he was going to be. Maybe on that day we could donate, whatever his age.
Oh, that would be so great. Donate.
Yeah, that's a great idea. Oh, look at you, Julie.
So when is his birthday, Julie? The 8th?
December 8th. Yeah. I was thinking about it because this is the first holiday season for me, basically. Yeah, he would have been 50. That has had kind of a lightness to it. I lost both my parents, and it's taken a while for the holidays to feel happy again. So to have his birthday and Christmas, his birthday's right in between Thanksgiving and Christmas. I hope, and I send a lot of prayers for the O'Keefes and good energy. I hope that they'll have a good holiday season, and they know that people care and people remember John, and people are not okay with the way they were treated.
Yeah, they were treated. I've never seen a victim's family I've never seen this before. And
No, it's disgusting. And it's no matter who you think is guilty, innocent, whatnot, John's family should never have been treated the way they've been treated. And then people who are treating them that way, or at least enabling that type of behavior are also putting John's photo in their profile pictures on social media as if they're an advocate for John. And if you are enabling people who call his mother vile, derogatory names simply because they don't believe in the conspiracy theory, you are not an advocate for John, period. So, let's just
try and take his picture down if you're.
Yeah, that's just so disrespectful. So, but I hope the O'Keefes, we're here for you. I've never spoken with the O'Keefe family. I don't know them personally, but my heart just, goes out to you guys. I really hope you guys feel the support as well as the witnesses. We need to stand up and say no to what's wrong, what's going on and what's wrong. So.
That's a great idea about his birthday, Jewel. Maybe we can do like a short show or something on Sunday night before the Monday night and ask people to donate his age. That would be great. It's a great idea.
Yeah.
A really good idea.
Love it. Yeah.
Me too.
I'm excited. For that. So Saturday
or
Sunday?
Saturday or Sunday we'll do part 2.
Yep. And then we'll start with Ginny.
Sorry.
Yeah, that with G.
Sunday's probably going to be better for me. Can you guys hear me now?
Yes.
Yeah, Sunday would be better for me as well.
Yeah. Yeah, I undid the mic. I don't like my AirPods. I don't like the mic. I don't like any of that stuff.
It's hard. I mean, I'm the same way. I have no idea what the hell I'm doing.
Yeah.
Like, to be honest, I have no
Why
idea.
are surrounding me? Like so many things around me. I can't take it.
I could never be like a YouTuber for a job. There's why.
No. This is well out of my comfort zone for sure.
Yeah.
But
yeah,
hopefully
Sunday-
we can just get it all out there, cover all the information so it's tangible.
All right. Thanks, you guys. Thanks for watching us. And
yes.
Yeah. Thank you guys.
We'll see you guys this weekend.
Bye.
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 Katie, hey sweetheart. Katie, if you even mentioned my name in the course of your job, I can promise you on your wedding day, you will think of me. And from forever then on, if this happens to be true. But if it's not, if it's not true, you'll never see me. But if it is, I can't wait till you have kids. Oh, please, hurry. Please, I have so many thoughts and ideas. If it's true, Caitlin, I'm praying that it's true. I need a new hobby.
Love you, Tom.